Good morning. How are you? How was your week? This week is not over yet. I have to do this early because we have to go up and say goodbye to my Uncle Dick, who passed away. So I'm going to do it today, Wednesday. So you might get it early, or you might get it at the same time. I don't know. I was at a fast food place the other day, and when I see people sometimes, depending on how they react, and we start talking, even if I've never met them, sometimes I talk about Carl, and I did to this person, and she said, God has a plan, and I said, I don't like that plan, and she said, oh no, God has a plan. You have to trust. You have to trust. I have a hard time with that. I think we know that. So I kind of looked it up. I looked it up in the Bible to see if it says anything about that, about knowing you have to trust, knowing that probably God has a plan, but how do you reconcile that with the pain? And with the fact that Colleen is not here with her daughter. So I looked it up. And it's interesting to me because the stuff that I found was about the disciples not trusting that God has a plan and not trusting that God's going to do the right thing. This is what I found. Mark 4:35 through 41. That evening, Jesus said to his followers, come with me across the lake. He and his followers left the people there. They went in the boat that Jesus was already sitting in, and there were other boats with them. A very strong wind came up on the lake, and the waves began coming over the sides and into the boat. It was almost full of water. Jesus was at the back of the boat sleeping with his head on a pillow. The followers went to him and woke him and said, Teacher, do you care about us? We will drown. Jesus stood up and commanded the wind and the waves to stop. He said, quiet, be still. Then the wind stopped and the lake became calm. And Jesus said to his followers, why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? The followers were very afraid and asked each other, what kind of man is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him. Okay, so his followers, pretty sure, are the disciples, his friends, the guys he collected to go and tell people about him. And even they had some doubts. Even they were afraid. Matthew 14, verses 28 through 33. Peter said, Lord, if that is really you, then tell me to come to you on the water. So Jesus said, come. And Peter left the boat and walked on the water to Jesus. But when Peter saw the wind and the waves, he became afraid and began to sink and shouted, Lord, save me. Jesus reached out his hand and caught Peter. Jesus said, your faith is small. Why did you doubt? After Peter and Jesus were in the boat, the wind became calm, and then those who were in the boat worshiped Jesus and said, truly you are the Son of God. Jesus appeared to Thomas. Thomas was not with the followers when Jesus came. Thomas was one of the 12, and the other followers told Thomas, we saw the Lord. This is after he died on the cross. But Thomas said, I will not believe it until I see the nail marks in his hands. And I will not believe until I put my finger where the nails were and put my hand into his side. A week later, the followers were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. The doors were locked, but Jesus came in and stood among them and said, peace be with you. And then he said to Thomas, put your finger here. Look at my hands. Put your hand here on my side. Stop doubting and believe. And Thomas said to him, my Lord and my God. Then Jesus told him, you believe because you see me. Those who believe without seeing me will be truly happy. All right, so listen. We all know what happened to those disciples. They spread the word of God. Jesus still trusted them after they had doubts, after they were afraid. When I do these videos, I try to do them so that I can understand. Like if somebody else had done it this way, that I would understand. And the reason is because sometimes I hear things on a YouTube video or in a church I don't know or something, and it gets so complicated what they're talking about. I need simple. My mind works very simple. This is simple. I don't want it to be simple. I don't want it to be the way it is. I'm afraid. I miss her. But it's fairly simple. You're going to be taken care of. Now, having said that, you're going to be taken care of. The question is, that I didn't ask, is how are we going to be taken care of? Because to me, being taken care of means you don't die, that you can stay with your family until your kids are grown, that you won't lose a child before you go. The disciples were with him, and they saw the miracles, and they were still afraid. And I think that that is because they're human, that there's always some part of your brain that's afraid or doubts or says, how could this possibly be? God has a plan. I don't know what it is. Probably not intelligent enough to know what it is. And I probably wouldn't like it if I found out what it was, because I don't know what's going to happen, but God does. And God has a plan for the whole world. My plan was for my children. Right in the beginning when I started doing these, I said it a lot. God's got this. And then things happened. And I don't say it so much anymore. So when that woman said to me, God's got a plan, it's going to be okay, I got a little mad. She doesn't know that. But Kenny said, He's got a plan. We don't know what it is. We have to trust He's going to do the right thing. Even though those disciples doubted and were afraid and didn't get it, Jesus still made them His family, still helped them to teach everybody about God. So my conclusion here is that even if I'm afraid, even if I don't get it or don't like it, Jesus and God are just still saying, it's okay, Kath. You can be afraid. It's going to be okay. I guess I wouldn't still be doing these videos if I didn't have a little bit of faith, a little bit of going beyond the doubting to the, all right, you got something going on there and I don't know what it is. But there's always days and moments where I can't really find that part of me, that I'm afraid. And then somebody comes up and says, it's okay, God has a plan. So, when you're in the place that you are and you don't get it, just kind of think about me. Kathy doesn't get it. I still think He's going to take care of us. And maybe in the case of Call, He's taking care of her by keeping her in a safe place so that she still can take care of her daughter. Because I'll tell you something. I was with her yesterday, my granddaughter, and she knows her mom. And she says it all the time, Mama. She sees pictures of her. She hears us talking about her and videos. She does. And I think part of that's because Carl's right there with her. So Carl is still doing what she was supposed to be doing. It's just in a different place. And I'm still going to be afraid sometimes and mad sometimes. But I will be forgiven. And I will be taken care of. Because God's got this. I found a song. Where did I put it? Trusting God by James Fortune. I gotta be honest, I don't know. This time I don't have the answers. I'm just out here trusting God. Why would I think that I can't handle this alone when so many things in my life were going wrong? For the times that my faith wasn't there, but you were, you told me you cared. And the nights I didn't feel safe, and these pains I cannot explain. So I'm just down here, trusting God when I don't understand your plan for me. And I'm just out here believing every word you promised me. And I'm just out here holding on. It's all I can do. I won't give up. And I won't give up because I know you won't give up on me. There were times when my faith got weak and the tears made it harder to sleep. And when things didn't go my way, in my pride I refused to pray. I'm just out here trusting God, believing every word that you promised me. I'm just holding on. Be still and know that God is in control, even when it doesn't make sense. God is in control. So God's saying, I got this. And I'm saying, I really hope so. I really hope so. I kind of really think so. Especially when it's a good day. Especially when somebody I don't even know comes up with that line. And when I look it up, the Bible verses match. Sometimes you're not going to believe. Sometimes you're not going to have faith. Sometimes you're going to say, I don't want that plan. You know what God's going to say? It's okay, Kath. I got this. You feel what you feel, but you come back to me. So here I am, coming back to God. Maybe not leaving God at all, just letting go and letting God. So if you're having a hard week and your faith is being tested, or your fears are coming to the front, or the anger's taking over, you feel the feelings, and you know, in the end, you're with God. He's got this. You have a good week. I love you. I miss you a lot, but we'll be together soon. Take care.